episode of the Fanzone podcast. Your home for all things Bolton Wanderers, up the Trotters, the Northwest's #1 podcast.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast. Tonight titled Back to Winning Ways, following yesterday's victory against Reading, episode 103. Of course, joined by myself, Chris, Ange and Ben. Chris, how are you this evening?
Smashing. I've just noticed that I'm wearing some rather funky bracelet. I've got my granddaughter here, so yeah.
Very nice.
Suits
you.
Just for effect.
Suits you.
Ange, how are you?
Good. Always better for a 3-pointer.
Of course. And Ben, yourself, sir?
Yeah, great. What a difference a week makes, eh?
Yeah.
On time in football a week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody who have joined us so far this evening. Craig, I want to say a massive good evening to you, of course, being the first time on the YouTube subscribed. Greatly appreciate that.
Welcome.
Welcome on board. Hope you enjoy the episode. If you can all like, subscribe and all that stuff, that'd be greatly appreciated. Good evening, Julie. How are you? Hope you're well. Andy, of course. Plenty of people in the chat. 66 people currently watching, of which 48 of those are on YouTube. So thank you very much for joining us so far. Simon Riley said, E-I-E-I-E-I-O, up the Football League we go. Like Ben just said, a week is a long time in football. Of course, tonight's episode sponsored, of course, by Eco Warm Windows. Be sure to head over to the website to learn more about the wonderful work that they do at Eco Warm. Very, very much appreciate their support throughout this season. So thank you very much for that. They've had a little bit of good news as well, which we'll allude to at some point later on this evening. But thank you very much to everybody who's joined us tonight. And I would suggest we'll be better off getting straight stuck into it, as they say. Probably would be a good idea. For some reason, I'm a little bit rusty tonight, and I have absolutely no idea why. So if somebody can fill this space, why I just do this bit, that'd be really appreciated.
Oh, I like seeing you all uncomfortable.
I know, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. I don't know why. I really don't know why I'm so rusty tonight.
It's because you're having a brew instead of a beer,
Ben.
isn't it?
Say that again?
Because you're having a brew instead of a beer.
I think, you know what? It actually might
Not
have
good for you, that,
to do with
Colin.
it. Sorry?
It's not good for you, mate.
It's not. But it's time for post-match reaction. For those watching live on YouTube, I can assure you I will get better throughout the evening at that. I don't know why there was a little bit of rustiness to my presentation skills a moment ago. And I hope my boss isn't watching me because that's what I do for a living. Not present, but, present kind of solutions and stuff. So it was a little bit crap on that side of things as well. So not ideal. But anyway, let's talk about the football yesterday. I want to start with Ben. Hopefully your internet's caught up a little bit because you're a little bit on the delayed side before we went live. But can you give me your thoughts on yesterday's performance, please?
Yeah, it was pretty good. The complete opposite to last week, really. The first 5 minutes set the tone. I think it was pretty much the first 30 seconds. Adebayo closing down and showing a great tackle. Just got the crowd up, ready to go. Everett said we needed the fans, and we all turned up. Well, we didn't all turn up. We all turned up. Whoever did turn up, it turned up in voice, though. And the positive. Sheehan made the difference, didn't he? Back in the team, back amongst the goals. And then Charles just, perfect first half, actually. You can't really ask for much better than that. And then 4-1 at half time. I was trying to think the last time we scored 4 goals in a first half. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen us do that. It's probably before my time. I was trying to think all the big wins we've had recently have been even 2-3-0 at half time. But back-to-back 5-2 wins against the same team is strange, not to say the least. But yeah, look, it's too early for I told you so's, like Dan's trying to egg me on to do. But we'll save them for about 10 games time. to see where we are. Yeah, it's look, it's very early. It's a great start. It's building blocks. We'll see where we go from here.
Really do appreciate everyone's contribution in the chat tonight so far. Thank you very much for that. It's absolutely bouncing, and Chris is doing a sterling job of keeping on top of that. But I do want to reference our fellow co-host, Dan, who apparently couldn't be on tonight's episode because he was at a Sunday lunch. Out for his tea. So he's been a little bit rude whilst watching the episode whilst with his family and friends, which is not ideal, but never mind. Ange, go on. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on yesterday's game.
It was, do you know what? That probably is one of the best atmospheres we've had for a good while. The first 10 minutes of that match yesterday was almost emotional. I found it really quite moving. Oh, Georgie Johnson just got stuck right in from minute one, and then Georgie T kind of getting all the crowd going, and we felt very united. I liked it. Obviously, I think having three in the middle of the park suited us yesterday. Joshua was magnificent. Back to scoring a beautiful set piece goal. So we had a corner, we had a free kick, we had a penalty, we had another, like a lot of set piece goals, and we have been having a bit of a whinge about we don't really do much with them, and that was nice to see as well yesterday. All in all, and we'd said before when Chris and I were in the fan zone before the match, we were all feeling really positive before the game, and I don't make predictions, but I said before the match, today feels like it could be a turning point for us, and it feels like it could be the start of our season. And then they went on and did that, so I was happy with the boys.
Yeah, obviously I'm keen to get your thoughts, Chris, as ever. Whenever we do these podcasts, I want to ask you a question before you do delve into your thoughts. Ange touched on it, and I was actually going to allude to it myself. The tempo early doors in terms of Vic closing the men down early and hitting them hard into tackles and challenges. How important do you think that is for us to kind of, especially at home as well, to kind of get everyone on side and get us all singing from the same hymn sheet?
I'll cheat and I'll use Ian's comment because it was Jono who set the tone. There was a crunching defensive tackle from George very, very early doors. So there was Johnston, there was Thomason, and there was Vic, sort of in each of the thirds, kind of whipping it up and basically sticking it to them, and it got the crowd going really early doors. Makes a massive difference. I think it was Ian who also mentioned that we went back to, and BWFC Moz has mentioned it, that the change in formation gives you that impetus. It gives you that comfort and that familiarity of what you're doing, so you can start to do that. I think that the problem that we've had this season is because there's been so many changes that anything sort of around the edges has gone by the wayside, because they're focusing so much on this change in formation and a different way of playing, which has not been working. The basics have been lost in that change. But massive. It was massive. Like Ange said, the atmosphere was tremendous. Considering the last few days and all the negativity that's been, and rightfully so, on social media to an extent, obviously. It showed a lot of character in many areas, but we don't get carried away. It's one result that was necessary, and we got it.
Ben, I want to ask your opinion on the situation regarding McAtee and Collins. Now, to the layman football fans, which of course the majority of us are, how do you feel we aim to get both of those in that starting 11 when it's clear to see that Dion is obviously the starting striker, and Vic's performance yesterday was nothing short of fantastic, in my opinion. We've got a bit of a, not an issue, not a problem, but fitting two players into our team, that bit of a possible square peg round hole situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the way I see it, it's only an issue if you're not playing well. And to me, I've been calling for Adebayo to start for basically, since the first game, really, because he was great in pre-season and he's the only physical presence we have up top. And yesterday he was brilliant. One of the best games I've seen him play for us. So for me, it's mad to say it when them four are our options. It's Adebayo +1 for me at the minute. So, obviously Charles got the hat-trick yesterday. So you'd imagine he's not getting dropped. So, as Liam just said, injuries will happen. I think we got absolutely burnt by injuries last season. I think Everett said in his post-match interview yesterday, I don't think Charles and Adebayo played together for the whole of the second half of last season. So,
no. Yeah.
It's a lovely problem to have. It's a great problem to have.
Exactly. And we've got Lolos and Mendes Gomez coming back. So there's another two to add to the fold. Look, when all six are fit, then it's great. We've got two strikers that look like they're on it at the minute, as of yesterday. If they're not on it, they'll be dragged off after 55, 60 minutes. And we've got two other players that, will be raring to take the position. I know what you mean about square pegs in round holes, kind of, but I think Collins is probably our best attacking player end of last season. And he played up there.
He's got an element of flexibility to his play, hasn't he, from an attacking perspective.
Yeah,
I don't know whether I necessarily see him as a 10 though. In fairness, so maybe he is one of the 9 options.
Yeah, and McAtee played in a front two all last season. He played kind of off Devante Cole a bit, so again he's probably in the same position as Charles and Collins. I think them three are all quite similar. But yeah, look, I don't think Charles has gone a season without getting a little injury at some point or a big injury like he did last season. So they'll get their chances, but it's a good problem to have. When we're scoring 5, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Any key points from the chat, Chris? Have you noticed?
Other than I've got to give thanks to everybody again for making it so damn busy. It's flying through. I think the consensus it is very much what we're talking about. Liam mentions it here. That he's glad that Adebayo is staying. Obviously, to your point, Ben, that you were calling for him to start, I think he does make a hell of a difference. Daniel has asked, could Lolos play in the Paris role in the 5-3-2? There's going to be rotation. Now I'm not. Now we've got it back to what it should be like in terms of formation and outcome. I don't want to change it again, but inevitably we will have to rotate and we will have to accommodate opposition formation and tactics to change from how we played yesterday. But just getting back to what we know and doing what we do well, it's like you say, it's a good problem to have. Collins was great next season, last season, I think. Ian travelling through time, but I take your point, Ian. Yeah, he was great last season, and I think he can be again. I think there's definitely a role to play.
Dion just had so much confidence yesterday as well. It's like he was. He'd been lacking
to their goalkeeper.
Yeah,
saying that I put it that way. No,
where do you want me to put it? Where do you want me to put it? He was
smash it down the middle. I'll put it through your legs. Where do you want it now? And then he scored the penalty.
Love that. I'm all for that. If you watch the City game earlier,
you've got to keep when you've got that momentum with a striker, you kind of got to feed it and keep it going. So it does make that Collins, I think, issue, because for me they can't play together. It's either or for me. And I think
if you think back to last season when say we were chasing a game after 60, 65 minutes, Charles and Adebayo went off and it was for Bodvarsson and Lunderloo or Jerome. So now for it to be Collins and McAtee, and then in a month or so, Mendes Gomez and Lolos, it's night and day, the options.
Yeah. Just to kind of dampen the spirit somewhat, I want to just kind of give my two penneth on what I thought of yesterday's game. I mean, walking out the stadium, we did a little video, obviously, for our vlog, which will be live, by the way, on YouTube.
I think it's available now for members. There was a message off Benjamin.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, video is up for members only, available publicly at 9 p.m.
There you go. So we've got one of our weekly vlogs going on our YouTube channel later on for non-members. And like Andrew's just said, it's live now. But anyway, I did a little video. Of course, I posted that earlier on as well on my own personal channel. And they were my immediate thoughts after the game. And not much has changed, to be honest. I wouldn't say we got away with that win because you can't possibly get away with a 5-2 win. But I thought in possession we were excellent. Out of possession we were absolutely terrible yesterday. And we did beat a very, 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 very inexperienced and poor Reading side who basically just went gung-ho from the moment go, which obviously left a lot of space for us in attack. Still concerns for me. I think we have to build on that. It's very important that we go away next week to Crawley, is it? We're playing next week, Chris, is that right?
Yeah, it's Saturday half 12 kick.
Yeah. And we beat Crawley. We beat Crawley comfortably and build on that performance yesterday. There's absolutely no point in winning comfortably yesterday from a scoreline perspective because I was always worried, I'll be honest, and then not pick a victory up next Saturday. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we do have a very exciting game on Wednesday. For those who haven't been to the Emirates before, who are going, it's a wonderful football stadium, and obviously you got to enjoy your trip down to North London. But we've got more pressing matters, and we need to build on that victory yesterday, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my two penneth on the situation. Isn't it Lincoln next week? Brandon said, and that's because I tend to get these.
Call everyone Lincoln.
Yeah, I tend to get these because yeah. Yeah, I tend to get all these clubs mixed up, to be honest. I don't know whether it's age or just generally just disrespect for the football club. I'm really not sure.
I think
combination.
The dog and dog.
Attitude comes with age, Colin. You're just getting cantankerous, mate. That's all it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
At 36. Christ.
Is Dan just chucking everything you said on the...
Yeah, he's just regurgitating last week's podcast in the chat, bit by bit. Is Dan Sumner, who says, new voice, fresh ideas, in inverted commas, to quote Colin, and the word bereft has been thrown around a couple of times.
I feel quite sorry for his family. He's supposed to be on like I said, an evening out and meal out, and he's too busy trying to do his very best to wind me up. But a few things up my sleeve for later on in relation to Mrs. Sumner. So we'll just do the man of the match for now, though.
Hooray! Hooray, though! We actually want to do it.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. As ever, please do get your man of the match in the chat, and Andrew will do her usual really good job of keeping note of them. I want to start with Chris. I've got an idea who I think it might be, but who's your man of the match from yesterday, please?
As long as he has an above par performance, he's always going to get my man of the match. But he was enormously above par yesterday. I think getting dropped last week was just a tonic because he was phenomenal yesterday. George Johnston, for me, obviously Dion getting 3 goals is phenomenal and he should be man of the match. However, there's an exception to that rule, and that's called George Johnston.
Ben, you're up next, pal.
Yeah, I mean, I expect you all to go Johnson, to be honest, or Chars. So I'm going to give a shout out to Adebayo, who it's not often when 2 strikers play together, one gets a hat trick, and I'm more impressed by the one that didn't score at all. Because I think he was exactly what we've been missing for the last 4 games we haven't scored a goal in. 3, 4, can't remember. But yeah, whenever we've been pressed, we've needed an out ball, and that is partly why we conceded that stupid goal we did last week, because we didn't have an out ball the whole game. And he just gives you that. You can ping it up to him, he can hold it down on his chest. And a couple of times he went out wide from goal kicks and, pinged it out wide to jump on their fullback, won the flick on. I think that's how our second goal came about. That's how the penalty came about. It was just a long ball out wide. He brought it down. We played it through the midfield, and then Charles got brought down for the penalty. He just gives us something different every time. And there was probably about 20 minutes in that second half where it was basically already with the possession. He was on his own up front, and quite a few times we, cleared it up long to him, and he held off a couple of defenders, won a free kick or won a throw in for us just to relieve the pressure. And yeah, I just thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, all valid points. For me, it's Dion Charles for man of the match. He's the difference maker in the scoreline. He scored 3 goals, and you can't not give a striker man of the match when you get an hat-trick for me. Behind the goalkeeper, it's the most important position on the pitch, and the reason why they score, they get paid the most money. And he did his job yesterday. And I know people say, "Oh, 2 of them were penalties and all that," but for me, that's moot point. Because you still got to score them, as the old saying goes. But yeah, that's my thoughts on man of the match. Ange, yours, please.
So it looks like I might be the decider.
Oh, Ange.
So I had all of those 3. Plus, I thought Sean was great first half.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough. It's really tough. But I think because we did concede 2, I think Dion's just going to nick it off Georgie J for me because of, obviously, hat-trick. So that's where I'm going. We'll give it to Dion.
Yeah. The composure for that second goal was,
it was beautiful.
Really good composure for the first and the third as well, because penalties. But yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, we did, the lads played all right, certainly from an offensive and in possession stuff yesterday. Concerns for me, like I said already, in off the ball. One thing I want to ask you, off the man of the match topic to a degree, and Ange touched upon it a minute ago, Sean. I'm a bit concerned about the lad from a defensive perspective. I noticed that Reading tried to target him a little bit on that right side. And I don't think he's a fullback, to be honest. And I think unless he sorts himself out defensively, then we might start seeing a little bit more Randall Williams in these next few weeks.
He was great, to be fair.
Yeah, and he played well when he came on, I got to admit. Yeah, absolutely. But I want to know, Chris, can I ask your thoughts on that, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, 100%. Dan Summer has actually said something that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, Dan. He's obviously...
he sacked his meal off, hasn't he?
Well, he's obviously onto his Yorkshire pudding. So, Declan's Sean, and what he means by that is what you've touched on, the fact that in an attacking sense, Electric, from a defensive standpoint,
work to do.
He makes it look difficult. He's got a lot to learn, and he's got a lot to sort of get up to speed whether he's going to be an effective wing back, because his defensive qualities are questionable. However, it's been the same with a lot of our wing backs over the last few years, not just Deck John, but a few others as well. So give him a chance, give him time, but yeah, he does need to brush up on his defensive work.
Listen, I'm sure he's got time, and I'm sure people will give him a chance, and you can certainly see there's a player in there from a technical point of view. Obviously, some of the things he does offensively with the ball is obviously pretty good to see, considering we've lacked in that kind of international quality of a footballer in the last few years, and you can certainly see he's got that. I just wonder whether or not that sign is more of one for the future, possibly with a level and maybe tweaking things.
It's a specialist role, isn't it? And even more so in an Everett formation that we are so heavily reliant on attacking, moving through the thirds quickly because of our wing back presence, and we do rely on it more than a lot of teams. So to come from where he's come from, yeah, of course it's going to take time. It'll be a shock to the system for him, but he showed a lot yesterday for me. Like Ange said, in that first half in particular, I thought he was excellent. He was putting himself about, and there was a definite improvement already. So, yeah.
Just nipping back to the section, in the chat, it was predominantly Georgie J and Dion. I think the chat just picked George Johnson for it. But yeah, just a mention to the sponsors of the section, iHeat. If you need a boiler, get over on their website. I'm sure they'll be able to sort you out.
Absolutely. Well done, Ange. I like your style. As we've touched upon already, we do have a members video vlog live now on our YouTube channel. We've also got lots of other content coming over this next few weeks. We're working very, very hard in the background to do so. So if you want to become a member, then of course you can do and get early access to the content that we're creating. And there will be other things coming in the not too distant future, like I've touched upon. For a very, very small investment of only £2.99 a month, we get to see all our faces on a more regular basis than you do already. So, why not type of thing. So, yeah, I reckon we look ahead to the next game. And to do so, we've got Mr. Statman.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Statman's loft because he's been booted out of the other room because he's too loud. Anyway, welcome back to the Statman segment of the Fanzone podcast, sponsored by General Louise Salmon, local mortgage and protection broker. Thank you very much for that. Apologies about the rain, but as we live in England, there is absolutely nothing I can do about that. So I'm just going to try to talk a bit louder and hope it doesn't make a difference. You're obviously playing Arsenal on Wednesday. But if you like football and you don't know how Arsenal play, I don't really understand you as a person, to be quite honest. No, without taking a piss, they're just a bit like City, aren't they? They love to keep the ball in the midfield. Arteta is just a bit, but I won't get into that because I'll just no one wants that. So and now I am only about the league, as I love the EFL, of course. So Crawley on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. Boo, yeah. But anyway. Actually, believe it or not, they're one place above you in the league, which is, I find that quite funny. They've scored 5 goals, but you scored that last game. What a game, by the way. But anyway, yeah, they've scored 5 goals all season, which is not superb. But then again, yours before last game was also pretty poor. The second highest for possession stats, which is a little bit weird because they sound a bit like Bolton right now. So yeah, my advice would be to play direct because they're not going to give you the ball, and even if they do give you the ball, it's just going to be passing around the back. From my understanding of the statistics and the brief bit of highlights I've seen, this is definitely a game for Vic, I reckon. Up front, Adebayo, of course. Pronunciation to a T. Let's not talk about the McAtee situation at the start of the season because we moved on. Yeah, it's definitely a game for Adebayo because, if you are playing more direct, he's definitely the most physical striker you have. Into his chest or on his head, flick it on, Dion's in. Simple as that, really. Who needs tactic? Yeah, so as I was saying, they make a lot of passes, but they don't create a lot of chances. They're one of the lowest for big chances missed, which could be a good thing, but is also definitely a bad thing because it means you've not created that many. The lowest in the league for long balls per 90 as well, so they really do not like to play it forward at all. So yeah, they are just going to keep the ball as much as they can and try almost bore you out of losing. But yeah, they really don't like a direct pass at all, even when it's on. It's just a bit odd, isn't it? The CBs, I'm going to keep this one a bit shorter, partly because big Arsenal game on the weekend. I'm sure I'm sure your focus is on that, and partly because my phone is on 3% and I'm not able to locate a charger at present. But anyway, the CBs definitely ball watch. Like every CB does to a certain extent, but these specifically, because look at the screenshot now. Whoa, that was crisp editing from the Statman, I must say. Yeah, from the first one, you can see the cross is coming in. There's not one bloke looking at the guy at the far post at all. And this is just after a corner, which is quite important to note. But the other goal they conceded in the same game was also from a corner. So definitely something to look out for there. But yeah, they're all ball watching. Ball comes in. Guy at the back post wins it. You're thinking everyone's trapped the man. There's no way he can just flick it back across goal. Second screenshot. Now, that is exactly what he does. There's nobody near the second guy. I mean, he probably didn't need the second guy to head it home anyway. That is just abysmal defending. Abysmal. And quite frankly, I'd be raging if that was my team. But anyway, so yeah, my advice would be put the ball in the box on Adebayo's head. 2-0, sweet as a nut, call it a day. Yeah. That is the end of the Statman segment because my phone is about to die. But no, I hope you enjoyed the preview and I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. And I hope you win on Wednesday because that'll be quite funny. So, as I was saying before, I was so rudely cut off by my poor battery phone. Please win on Wednesday. And yes, my phone died, so I am recording this at a weird angle with it on charge. Up the fan zone. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. See you in a bit.
Excellent stuff as ever. I mean, normally we dissect that a little bit and kind of go into it, but I just want to stop everybody and pay.
Elaborate and listen.
Yes.
Me Julie.
To me, Julie Walker, who's become a YouTube member. Thank you very much for that. It goes a long, long way to help us improve the podcast. Of course, it does. So thank you very much. In terms of Saturday's game, not really so much talking about the Arsenal game. I think for those who are going, massive respect to each and every one of you. I mean, I know we've got a contingent of around 4,000 going to the, and I very nearly called it hybrid then, the Emirates on Wednesday. Of course, a decent percentage of those are going to be the old London and Southern Whites contingent, but still a very good number of Bolton fans going to London on a Wednesday. And I think one thing that people don't tend to appreciate is the amount of effort it takes to kind of get time off work and plan when you've got kids and children and, you know, school.
Kids and children.
Yeah, sorry, children and young kids and children at school and all that type of stuff and all the rest of the things. What I'm trying to say is hats off to you all and well done for making that journey. You'll love the stadium. It's a cracking grounds. I mean, we're going to get up to the hammer, but never mind, that's fine. Let's think about Saturday. Ben, what are your thoughts ahead of this coming weekend, and obviously following up from yesterday's win?
Yeah, obviously it's an important game. As I said, that yesterday doesn't mean anything if we go to next week and don't win. If we don't win the next 3 or 4, really. They had a decent start. I think they won the first 2 games, didn't they? But after that, they've kind of slumped to what everyone's pre-season predictions thought they'd be. I don't think they've won since the second game. And yeah, like Carl said, they like to keep the ball. I think they rank like 2nd or 3rd in possession in the league. So look, it might suit us. It's not very often that we go into a game knowing we're not going to have all the ball. I mean, yesterday was the first home game in absolutely donkey's years where we've not had most of the possession. I think it was 45% possession.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm going to point
that. Yeah, maybe it suits us a bit more. We don't seem to see it that often, so we're not too sure really. But yeah, yesterday it did suit us, but I think that's kind of a product of being 4-1 up at half time, and they kind of had 20-25 minutes second half where it was all them with the ball. But yeah, no, it's I'm not going to say it's a tough game. It should be an easy game. You don't know how that goes in League One, does it? Look, we have to win. We have to win these type of games. Simple as that.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Thanks, Liam.
Yeah, Radix has mentioned the fact that Crawley is important. Arsenal,
of course,
is a
nice night out. Enjoy yourselves.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm just glad I've got the holidays, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody has that luxury, do they? Got another little segment going to go now. On screen, you will see a selection of tweets or posts or X's or whatever they'd like to call them these days. Hopefully, you can see them, but I've pulled these apart from social media over this last day or two. I want to start with Derek, 99 years old recently. And of course, we referenced this, I think it was last week, paying him a happy birthday. And it was nice to see our sponsor, actually, for this segment, Football Away Days, posting a picture of Josh Sheehan presenting him with a 99-year-old birthday shirt from the squad. Very nice to see that. The post read, 99-year-old Bolton fan Derek has been following the club all his life and still attends every home game. Today he was presented with a shirt to thank him for his lifelong support. Love it. And as do I. Really good to see it.
It's a sweet miracle the man's got to that age supporting Bolton.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my personal favourite podcasts, other than the Fanzone podcast, is Not the Top 20. They do a wonderful job. If Bolton fans listening to this don't subscribe to that particular podcast, then I would advise you to do so. Deep dive into every division across the EFL and they know the stuff. But they do a alternative angles hashtag, and we feature quite heavily on that. So I wanted to credit Bolton Wanderers and of course Marcus for the recent post, which highlights his brilliant work as the media guy at Bolton. So keep up the good work on that front. I hope you all saw that. Chris, I want to draw your attention to Mr. Sumner's post. Do you want to give me your thoughts on that, please? For those who listen in audio, of course, it says, if that's you, stay away. Or go to the Etihad or Old Trafford. We don't want your support, in inverted commas, and it's embarrassing. And that's, of course, paying reference to the Ever Out banner that was displayed yesterday in the North Lower. Chris, have you got anything to add to that? Because I know you could see that from where you were sat, couldn't you?
Yeah. I don't need to say anything because Big Malk has said it all for me. And for those who are on an audio channel, Big Malk says that banner is a disgrace. We're all entitled to voice our discontent. Grow up.
Yeah,
is all I can say to that, really.
Hey, could they be asked to make that? Like,
I know, innit?
That's what I was thinking. I can imagine him.
I've got a great idea, mate. This will look real. This will look mint. This, yeah. Liam says, "Do you think they felt the cringe at full time?"
Well, I'll just say I sit quite near them, and I don't think I saw them smile all game, to be honest. So,
no.
You know what? If it means we win 5-2 every week, bring it back.
Yeah. It's better than that massive surfer flag, isn't it? So,
it doesn't serve us well at all, that surfer flag, does it?
Yeah. So we've one game. Van has been there for one game. We've scored 5, conceded 2. So yeah, bring it back.
We've seen these banners before. Those who are old enough to remember. God, it seems weird saying that. But back in, I think, around 2007 kind of time, there was a similar banner presented for Gary Megson. I think that was done in the West Upper at the time. And then short followed that, his resignation. These things don't help, really, do they? Listen, he's well and truly in my bad books, Ian Evatt. And I'll stick with that until things improve. But I don't like that at all, personally. I get everyone's entitled to their opinion, but come on, lads or girls, whoever's done it.
Where do you sit, Cole?
North Upper.
All right, just checking.
I've done since 1997, Christopher.
No, I'm just
Don't try and imply that was me with the banner. I think that's what you're trying to get at. It wasn't.
There was a bearded fella, and I did think for a minute.
Yeah. Colin was not bereft of a banner. So, jokes aside, it's not really necessary. We're going through a rough patch, and we've all been very vocal about what we think about Ian Evatt, etc. But that's just taking it to a whole new level, isn't it? It
is. But having said that, I suppose we're lucky enough to have a platform we can voice our opinions, and then
And we can allow others to voice theirs.
Yeah, it's a free country and all that.
True. Kind of contradictive comments from us, I guess.
They might wear t-shirts next time.
Oh, God.
Who knows? Liam's been at it with a Wigan fan. Why not? You know, they tend to rear their ugly head, don't they? Weekly, daily. Paying reference to how crap Emerson is, and I'll stick by that. And you all know my thoughts on that centre half. He was just a mid-table League One defender.
Agent Emerson.
If that's what you're happy with, a mid-table League One defender, then fill your boots, Wigan. Jordan, very big fan, I think, like to say, of the podcast, which we greatly appreciate his support. Jordan's reference George Johnson needs to take away from yesterday was one thing I took from today's game is that Johnson would slide tackle his nan for the last biscuit. Ruthless display of defending today. And that, of course, backs up our conversation earlier about man of the match. But that is your catch of the week, post of the week, whatever we would like to call it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do see anything throughout the week, be sure to message me directly. Of course, I'll message the Fanzone podcast Twitter account or X account, and we'll bring them on screen next week. And we're back. Look at that. Told you I'd get better at it tonight. I'm trying. Fanzone, fan focus time. Of course, this segment is sponsored by Wooden Grounds. And Mr. Wooden Grounds is in the chat tonight, so good evening.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. You're right, love. As you can see, resplendent on the wall of Dawson. Absolutely class work, by the way. Can't fault it.
Highly recommend.
Oh, just brilliant. It's just mint. It's so good. Before I crack on, I just wanted to give out a couple of shout-outs, if you will. Firstly, to the gentleman in the East Lower who was wheeled away at half-time, medical emergency. Don't know what went on.
Sunstroke, I think it was.
What was it?
I think it was a touch of sunstroke.
Well, I know how he feels, bless him, with this.
I saw it. I can't remember where I saw it, but I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah, a bit of heat stroke.
Get well soon.
Hopefully he has recovered and is doing well. And secondly, I'd like to give a shout out to my daughter Emily, who is currently in hospital. Thank you. If she's watching and listening, I hope she's better soon. Love you lots. So get well soon. So as per, and we've said it all along, you're a bunch of sadistic perverts.
It's quiet when we win.
Honest to God, unreal. It was absolute mayhem last week and the week before. We get a win. Tumbleweed. It's just like, we should be winning. No, but but I know what I'd prefer. Put it that way. And it's not all about my segment. So, so we just have a couple really. Firstly, we will touch on Radix Lectai's comment, Vintage White. Do you think playing Wednesday evening, then again on Saturday time, have an adverse effect going into next Saturday's league game against Crawley? I'll chuck my 2 pence in. I think that the momentum is necessary. I think we need to be getting into games with repetition and getting back into the zone and getting playing as we should be. Obviously, we return to our original formation, our traditional formation under Ian Evatt, but I think we should be playing more and more and more. But that's just my opinion. Angela, what are your thoughts? Is it just a big pain in the backside?
The The ramifications for me is that I'll think it's Tuesday on Wednesday. I'll be all out of kilter.
Oh God, yeah.
We don't play Wednesday nights. I'll be all out of sync all week. Nah, we just won. Let's play. Let's like we don't need to play our strongest side. Let's just go get the gate money, have a nice time. You can all go and remember what it's like to play in a decent stadium and be seated in a decent stadium and pay about £1 million for a pie and a pie. But
rather that and not have got bloody Crawley.
Yeah, and got roofs and stuff. Yeah, just crack on. Let's. It is what it is, isn't it? We can't change it. So let's just enjoy it. Let's have a lovely time.
I think as well, we need to consider the fact that, I mean, it's always been the case that the board always, put money in the kitty for hotels and stuff. So we'll obviously be staying down that way. So maybe not a bad thing at all in that respect. Obviously, it's a lot closer than Bolton. So Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually worked out not too bad for us with the scheduling. If it was last week, like most of the other games, it would have been Bolton to London, back to Bolton all in a week. But yeah, I imagine we're staying down there, so it's not too bad. That'll just be our home for the week. But look, we just had a conversation about we've got 4 strikers capable for 2 spots up front. Now it's the time for Collins and I would guess.
Well, it's
time for Collins and
me. I
McAtee
would
to play
start. Yeah.
what we can do. Yeah, and look, obviously, the expectation going in is we're probably going to get battered. So anything more than that, you play well 10 dangerous to 10 minutes. You take any positives you can get from that because we go in as massive underdog. Look, it's a nice day out to a nice stadium. Enjoy it. The players, I can imagine, will be buzzing. I think half of them are Arsenal fans anyway. So I'll be to play there.
It makes me sick. That I hate that, mate.
I know, but
I hate having players who play for us as support of the clubs. It makes me feel horrible. And if I see any of them, running after them after the shirts, they'll be dead to me. I don't care who they are.
Grow up, mate.
Honestly, can't be doing with it.
Things that make Colin mad. Number 3,000.
This is the guy that talks about snowflakes in the chat all week, isn't it? And he's bothered about
honestly, God, if he's running after him after the shirts, oh God!
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they're that daft.
I think they
just
will.
wait till they realise how far we fell. That's all it does. Just remind you how far we fell.
Anyway. What do you reckon about that, Colin, in terms of the geography and the timing of the games? Is it?
No, listen, I think the geography is actually could work out in our favour. I think what having won the way we won yesterday, and the fact that the players will obviously be on a high, spending a bit of time together from Wednesday onwards, might be beneficial for them. Obviously, as a group, bring them maybe even close together and stuff. So that I'm looking at that as a positive, really. In terms of the team selection, I actually don't think he'll make too many changes. Actually, I think he might change the keeper because I think Southwood deserves to play because obviously he got us through on him in the last few rounds. I think he'll start with Adebayo after his performance yesterday, and obviously he hasn't played too much this season, has he? But I don't think Dion will start. But in the whole, I think it'll be quite a strong side. Not too many changes. I wouldn't be surprised if Randell Williams came in at left back. But other than that, I think it'll be pretty much as it were yesterday. Maybe 2 or 3 changes.
Sorry, that comment just made me laugh.
You have to read the comments out, and people listen on audio. We're not just a live.
BWFC Mod says, has Cole passed on his old headphones / microphone and internet connection to
I have these nights where it's just all over the place.
We are live. This is the problem. We can't really complain about audio and internet. This is the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Yeah, as it says in the top left-hand corner, live.
We're governed by, what are you on? Which network provider are you on there, Bento?
Oh, Virgin Media.
Virgin Media. So.
Yeah, there are other internet providers available, of course.
Naturally. I remember going into a game against Arsenal a good few years ago with the same expectations. Okay, let's see. We can all remember how that panned out. Colin's Wi-Fi password is Colin's bathroom.
No.
I think that's mine.
It means, come on, Chris. It means Ben's.
Brilliant. Our second and third point are both from David, long-time listener and supporter of the show. Thank you, David. Now Everett has reverted back to 3-5-2. How does he manage Collins, McAtee, Gomez and Lolos? When a new coach comes in, he has to consider these players. Hence, he might go with a 3-4-3. The balance of the squad is still not right, given we are still short in midfield. Obviously, it's something we touched on a little bit earlier about it being a good problem to have, but we didn't really discuss it in terms of how that may impact the formation. So my thoughts on that, and I think Luke mentioned it earlier in the chat, we were all going on about a plan B. We go to a plan B and it's right, get back to plan A. I think the key was to tweak plan B and improve plan B. Have plan A as your first option. Makes sense, doesn't it? Plan A. And have something where we can switch when we need to. But it's an interesting comment that we do have that embarrassment of riches. So, Ben, what are your thoughts on that in terms of formational tweaks with those players?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's the last we'll see of the 3-4-3. Look, it's not been great the last few weeks, but we do have an embarrassment of riches up front when everyone's fit. And so right now, we maybe don't have like an obvious winger, but I think Mendes Gomez is definitely that. Lolos could be. And look, to keep them all happy, they all have to be playing. But like, it's one of them. If we stick with the 3-5-2, we stick with Charles and Adebayo up front, and we're winning every week, and we're scoring goals every week, nothing has to change. It doesn't matter. The players that are on the bench, look, they might not be happy being on the bench, but it's up to them to come on and make the difference when they get the chance. They can't be unhappy if they're in a winning team and not playing, having been in a losing team beforehand, not playing. I mean. So look, it's up to them. You get the chance. You'll get a chance every game. Everett brings off his strikers after 60-65 minutes most games anyway. So they're going to get 25, half an hour most games. So look, when you're on the pitch, take your chances, and competition is only healthy.
Yeah, David mentioned
your place.
Yeah.
Dave, what David said, I don't think it's quite as simple as that. I think we had obviously something very similar last season with Cameron Jerome and Jon Daddy Bodvarsson as an option come off the bench. That it should be Dion and Vic and Collins and McAtee. I mean, I think we're more balanced now with the quality. There isn't that with respect that huge drop off when you go to the bench. I think you can rotate those four players quite comfortably and create all sorts of different options. Dion and Colin. Yeah. What do you reckon, Colin?
Well, it's probably the reason why we're having the conversation, because we've got better options, haven't we, in them two positions up front. I personally, I don't think we deviate away from that 3-5-2, if I'm honest. I think it's going to be, other than Carlos Mendes Gomez, all of them have played as a 9 in the past.
Yeah, what I meant with that is, say in a game, if it's really evident we're having all of the ball and say we're 1-0 down at half time and we can throw another attacker on, then I can see it. I can see him changing to a 3-4-3 in a game, mainly just chuck another attacker on.
Maybe, yeah, just having it as like a triangle type of thing, just in behind. Yeah, possibly, yeah, if you chase him. But generally speaking, I don't think we deviate away from that 3-5-2, if I'm honest. Yeah. I think, as I've just said, I think they've all played as 9s in the past, be it with us or be it with the former clubs. The only one who hasn't is Carlos Mendes Gomez. He may be the one that would kind of struggle to make an impact. Lolos.
Yeah, there was a couple of weeks last season where he started, didn't he? And looked.
Yeah, he started like more of a just off the 9, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then to play devil's advocate, you can look at Victor and look at his previous roles. He's played on the wing. So just to add that into the mix.
But yeah.
Yeah, I question, because of the amount of detail that Everett goes into in terms of, you know, the press and the way that we build up and what's expected of the players. I question whether they've got the capabilities to be able to be so fluid in that attacking
in-game
line.
Yeah.
It's certainly in game. I've said it for a long time.
What are your thoughts on it, Ange?
Yeah, no, I think similar to Colin, to be honest, where I think it's going to take halfway to 3/4 through the season for that formation tweak to work with the players that we've now got. I think it is reliant on some of the ones that are missing, and I think that probably was highlighted yesterday, reverting back and it working better. I think it's something that he's going to try, but it needs more time in the training ground, I think. We should be able to work with the players we've got. It should be able to work, but at the minute it's not. So I think it's park it, and let's work on it.
Go with what we know. Yeah,
but let's stick with what we know for now.
Yeah.
As David says, don't forget, guys, we do have space left for one more incoming. Obviously, that's going to have to be a free agent, or
can we just get Jake Livermore in and just get him sitting middle at park?
Yeah,
pay him like $7,000 a week or whatever he's doing now. Is he on Sky over there? Get him in middle at park, just breaking up play, passing it sideways, and giving it to the younger people. That'll do me.
Yeah,
that.
That free agent could be pivotal. We don't know yet, so let's wait and see. But that concludes this evening's Fanzone Fan Focus. Thank you all for your contributions. Please remember, you can still contribute when we win, and we can talk about positive things, which is nice.
Of course. Just before we end tonight's episode, I want to pay congratulations to our principal sponsor, Eco Warm Windows, who are heavily involved with Blackrod Cricket Club. And just to deviate away from the football for a second, just to congratulate the guys at Blackrod Cricket Club for the wonderful NWCL Premiership title yesterday, which is the first time they've won that title since 2011 and been top of their respective league for pretty much all of the season. And of course, they are proudly sponsored by Econ Warm Windows, and as are we. So we thought it would be the right thing to reference that and congratulate them for that victory. So well done, guys, for that. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been a good one. And I think
before we go, another plug. We've got more plugs than Dixon's. Another plug.
Is Dixon still a thing?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
Show me age again.
You still watch his full-time scores coming in the window.
Yeah, it's through window.
Yeah.
Big spinning wheel. Don't forget, the latest vlog from FC TV will be on YouTube in about a minute to those who are not members. If you're not, you should be, but there you go. And it's we've seen it.
It's a belter.
It is.
And I really quite like it. It's quite nice.
I like it a
so
lot.
give it a watch. Let us know what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to get reminded about new content.
Yeah. And do us a favour, if you like the vlog and you see us knocking about and you fancy being on it, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll get you involved.
Yeah,
You'll probably see on the vlog, if you do, when you do watch it, there are plenty of people who watch the podcast and subscribe to the podcast that are on the episode. So it's really enjoyable. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, no. I was waiting for it, and it's come through right at the death, which is Brandon's "Chris is so old" line. I've just turned it off because I am old. But yeah, Liam has mentioned James Berry. Obviously, worth mentioning. We're trying to get James is coming on, but he's currently driving at the moment, unfortunately. But we will have him on the show again soon to talk about his work and him shaving off those beautiful Sideshow Bob locks in aid of a fantastic charity, which, as I said on Twitter, I wish didn't exist, which is the Young Kids with Cancer charity, something that's very close to his heart. So we will repost that across our socials. It's on his socials. It's on the club socials. It's on Bolton Wanderers in the community socials. It's here, there, and everywhere. It's a brilliant cause. Jump on it, and every little helps. Whether it's pennies or pounds, please dig deep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, Chris.
And there will be a link. Davey's just asked about a link. There will be a link in our socials. As I say, it's all over James's socials, club socials, and in the community.
Okay, we'll get him on, and yeah, we'll ask him to. Yeah, we'll ask him to highlight the importance of that charity even more so than Chris has just done, because Chris has done a great job of doing that. Obviously, like you say, it shouldn't exist. Let's be honest with you. Yeah, there's too much money in the world for that type of thing to exist, and let's be truthful. But yeah, thank you very much to everybody who's joined us tonight. Greatly appreciate you spending the best part of an hour with us. If you did enjoy the episode, please like it. And if you've not done already, do a little bit of a subscribe. And yeah, if you're going down to Arsenal Wednesday, safe travels. Enjoy the vlog. We're doing our best to try and keep you all entertained. Hopefully you all enjoy it. Have a good evening.